Why am I not surprised that the new Blade Runner 2099 TV series looks and feels just a bit off? The trailer is out, and the decision has been made to flip the script and make it so that humans have lost control and are now second-class citizens, and replicants have risen up and taken over. That just doesn't feel in keeping with the story from the first two films, or with Philip K. Dick's original novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Also, this has traditionally been a male-led franchise, and this series is going to be female-led. Why am I not surprised that that change was made? This is an Amazon Prime show, and some people are worried that the series might be about as divorced from the spirit of the first two Blade Runner films as Rings of Power is to Tolkien's actual work. An understandable concern, I think. Blade Runner is dystopian science fiction, but the universe still evoked powerful melancholic feelings and a broody sense of atmosphere. None of that feels present in this trailer. I've listened to fan-created ambient soundscapes on YouTube that have captured the mood of Blade Runner better than this trailer. The reason is likely because the Blade Runner films were still grounded in classic noir detective fiction, albeit in a cyberpunk techno-future. But to me, this sounds like a story that's focused more on humanity's survival. And I'll also say that some of the CGI scenes look a little bit cheap in places. I'm not sure you can really pull off the cinematic quality of Blade Runner on a TV show budget. And what is this character wearing? This is the main character. Why does she have to look so androgynous looking? I mean, who is going to be rooting for this character as the lead? Could they not have given her a more feminine, aesthetically pleasing appearance? And the dialogue is so poor. I mean, get a load of this. We already fought a war. We lost. Wow. Great to have characters effectively reading what sounds like bland boilerplate descriptions of the plot. Even if this is a voiceover narration, does it have to be so generic? How many times has a line of dialogue like that one been uttered in a sci-fi film or TV show? And Michelle Yeoh is also starring in this, and she's playing an older replicant, but the character reminds me a lot of Mirror Universe Philippa Georgiou. So I guess it's just as well this show looks quite a bit like Star Trek Section 31. It looks cheap. The colours, lighting, and set design in some shots are seriously lacking in detail. And there's some decent city shots in there, but then some of the sets just look a bit meh. And then more bland dialogue. She says, "The old world fights forever to come back. Humans want what was taken from them, but it's our time now." Very uninspired dialogue. And this is based on the 1982 film that has some incredible lines of dialogue. This trailer has to do a lot more than just showcase CGI and cityscapes. It needs to draw people in with some kind of interesting hook, a memorable character, a conversation or idea that's thought-provoking or mysterious. The dialogue in this trailer is very safe, generic, and sounds like it was written by a 12-year-old. It could have been written for a number of dystopian sci-fi franchises. It doesn't stand out specifically as Blade Runner. Look, even if this series turns out to be great, Amazon have shot themselves in the foot because fans don't trust them enough to adapt an existing franchise after what they did to Rings of Power. Here's the issue. I think a good portion of audiences are now jaded from so many lackluster reboots, sequels, and adaptations of their favorite franchises, and they are understandably cynical about studios making these kinds of follow-ups. It doesn't matter what the franchise is. If a trailer doesn't really wow them, if it's just kind of okay or a bit low effort, they just check out. Fans just check out. Blade Runner is an iconic sci-fi property. And the first film is a major cultural icon. Blade Runner 2049 was a solid follow-up. And while not as good as the first film, it took nothing away from it, and even explored more themes on just how close to human artificial life forms can truly become. In the original Blade Runner, Roy Batty, principal bad guy, simply wanted more life. He wanted some way to continue to live beyond his short replicant lifespan. He wanted freedom and recognition of his humanity. Despite being a replicant, he wanted what all humans want, to be remembered, even after he died. He was never looking for replicant supremacy, and certainly that was never a theme of Blade Runner 2049 either. At best, some replicants simply wanted to be left alone, to be allowed to live like human beings. The idea of a replicant uprising and overthrowing humanity is simply not consistent with the stories of the first two films. It's also a very lazy idea, to the point of being a trope, and has been done in the Matrix franchise and the Terminator franchise as well. Blade Runner strove for more nuance than that, for the complexity and confusion of ambiguity and the anxiety that creates, which feeds into good noir fiction, that feeling of uncertainty, and that's reflected in the world of Blade Runner as well. That's why the mystery of whether Deckard was a replicant or not endured for so many decades, because the answer was left deliberately up to the audience. Blade Runner doesn't provide audiences with definitive answers as to what it means to be alive, to be human. And this has also been part of the conversation around the hologram Joy in Blade Runner 2049. Is she really self-aware? Does she really love Kay? Blade Runner, like any noir thriller, lives in a grey area when it comes to its ideas and concepts and themes. And a further extension of that would be a world in which the lines between human and replicant, biological and machine, only blur further. After all, it was often difficult to tell them apart, to the point where sometimes even sophisticated tests could be fooled. So the idea of replicants rising up and taking over humanity is not only unoriginal and boring, it creates a rigid them and us, black and white dynamic between humans and replicants that was never meant to exist in the Blade Runner mythology. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm not thrilled with the story they've gone with for this Blade Runner 2099 TV series. I think it robs the universe of a very important part of the mystery and thematic identity of the Blade Runner saga. And also, as I say, the look of the trailer and the dialogue, it doesn't look to be up to the standard of the first two films. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think of the trailer in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Computing Forever, and remember to hit that notification bell to be notified of future updates on the channel so you never miss a video when I upload. Share the video out there, hit that like button, take care, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.